Hello, 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 everyone. Dr. Rowena Winkler here. And today we are going to be talking about Capricorn season. And with that, I am so delighted to have Analía Weber here today to talk about, her life as a Capricorn. And we'll talk about Capricorn season. And just FYI, at the time of this recording, both of us are dealing with snow conditions. So hopefully the Wi-Fi or the internet holds up and we're able to have this. But we're gonna just make the best that we can. So Analía, thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm very excited to connect with you after getting to know you a little bit virtually and the rest of the community. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. So the way that we always start this off is by talking about your big three. Obviously your sun sign is in Capricorn. We have a Leo moon and a Gemini rising. Do you feel that how do you encompass those big three? Do you see that playing out in the way that you go about your days?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think the Leo moon kind of tones down the Capricornness quite a bit. I think that's where my career of being a professional dancer stems from, that, needing to be creative and needing to be an entertainer. That Leo moon kind of brings it in. And then I think my other life, my other full-time job really stems from that Capricorn of like achieving. I keep climbing up the ladder. That's something that's interesting to me. I like that challenge, and that's very much Capricorn.
Yeah. So how have you climbed the ladder? Is this in your professional life, your personal life, or both?
I would think more in my professional life. I think I'm sorry?
I think
Can you repeat that question again?
Yeah, no worries. I think you started answering it. It was about how you've climbed the ladder in your professional life. Oh dear. Now we've lost you completely on my end. Might be my internet. There you are.
Okay. I don't know what happened there.
No worries. Round two. Just talking about climbing ladders in your professional life. I think you started to answer that question.
Yeah. So as far as like dancing, I have been dancing since I was little. I was born and raised in San Juan, Puerto Rico. And at 18, I decided to leave and come to the United States to pursue my studies in dance. So I got a bachelor's in dance and I got a master's degree in dance. And then that propelled me to have my own dance company, dance professionally with a couple really great people in the field. I became a school director for a nonprofit here in Colorado, and that was really fun and great. Very rewarding experience, getting to build the curriculum and having 22 teachers under me that were fantastic and really hardworking. And then I decided to become a mother, and that kind of shifted the needs in my family, especially the time commitments. So I am still professionally dancing with a company, but those teaching yoga buddies, dance, running the school evening hours was just not going to fit well with our routine. So I ended up pursuing a different career at close to turning 40, which was a little scary. And I decided to become a development director. So I do anything from fundraising for the organization, marketing, communication, event planning, connecting with the community. That was very much in me as well as a performer and entertainer. Just connecting with audiences seems very natural. So that seemed a very nice flow from one full career to the next, but it was still kind of scary. So I always thought I would never do anything else but dance related. So having that career shift and seeing that I can climb the ladder just even in my salary was really rewarding. Just to know that I could continue to get more.
Yeah,
If I
that's
make that
amazing.
shift.
And what a trajectory. It's really that's what kind of dance did you do primarily? Or was it all different kinds?
Modern day,
Modern.
modern
Okay,
contemporary dance. Yeah.
that's awesome. So as you've alluded to, right, the Capricorn
I might be
energy.
losing you again.
Oh no.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Can you hear me? Okay. That Capricorn energy is
Yeah.
very hardworking, pragmatic. How do you balance that with this life of dance and creativity? Because I think at first glance, for some people, they'll be like Capricorn, like what? And you mentioned that your Leo moon might play into this, but how do there might be this tension or a balance you have to make between being, pragmatic versus allowing yourself to be expressive and creative.
Yeah, I think I'm good at dividing and conquering those different aspects of myself. Like the the creative Leo moon allows myself to be lenient and playful versus the Capricorn in me, then that's the one that will produce the show, get the dancers, figure out how everybody's going to get paid, fundraise for those events. So, it's kind of like that happy couple, which is interesting because that's kind of like who I married. I married like a very grounded, confident, secure go-getter who's like into numbers, just finance person. And I was always the creative, like, I don't know how we'll pay for things, but we'll just make it. And like he has balanced me out, I think, and taught me how to get that Capricorn and that Leo kind of like thinking that way of like, yes, you can be creative, yes, you can have all these ideas, and also plan ahead and how you're gonna get all these things done. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like me and my husband for sure. He's definitely the
Mhm.
more grounded finances guy, and I'm the same like you. So, it's good to know that
Mhm.
there's a that this can work out. Um,
Yes.
so recently, was it? I was listening to a podcast. I don't remember which one. Maybe if I remember, I'll put it in the show notes. That Capricorn can also have some perfectionist tendencies. Do you see yourself as a perfectionist type? And if so, how do you contend with that?
I didn't see myself as a perfectionist until I became a mom. That
Oh,
brought all my perfectionism, control issues up to the surface. I think I've always been proud of considering myself a great collaborator artistically, being able to collaborate with other artists on a project, on a vision, putting all those together and making it whatever it is. But when it was time to like become a mom and seeing my time constrained shift and having to ask for help, because I think the perfectionist in me is like, no, I can do it all. I don't need
yeah.
help. So it's really hard for me to ask for help. I'm working on it. I think the perfectionist in me stems also from, I think Capricorns can be very people pleasers.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to work through that, because you just want to, be that leader, make sure everybody likes you. Yes, you can make those tough decisions, but like, you don't want to be disliked, because as a Capricorn, you want to portray this, or this air of like, I am perfect. I have my life put together. I can do it all.
Yeah.
I'm a mother and an artist, and I can, work 80 hours a
Yeah.
week, and I don't have bags under my eyes or whatever. So it's been a lot of shadow work with that, of like,
Mm.
not of allowing myself not to be perfect, because that's not possible. Achieving that is not possible. So
Yeah.
it's still in progress.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It appears to, oh yeah, the perfectionism, it sneaks up and it comes, and it's interesting how for you it came up as you became a mother. I know, what was humbling for me when I became a mom was that, yeah, you can't control everything. So
Mhm.
so yeah, that's really hard. Yeah, it's really hard to ask for help. And you're right in that, yeah,
I
there's
think
that.
for me it
Yeah.
was like more like, I know how to change diapers better. I know how to put them to bed better. I know, like, let
Oh,
me
that you
do
know
it,
best.
because how other people are doing it is just freaking me out or stressing me
Oh,
out. Because you have no control over,
yeah.
once you have a baby, there's no control. I wanted to control everything that I could control, just to
Gotcha.
keep
Gotcha.
myself grounded, which was just not helpful for anybody. So mhm.
Pro tip,
I
everyone.
would hope that I'm better. Yes. Yeah.
Well, how old
Be
are your
good at
children
asking for
now?
help.
How old are your children now?
4 and 2.
How old?
4 and 2.
Oh, 4 and 2. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Oh,
Mhm.
so similar. Yeah. My daughter is turning 4 in March and my son is 5 months old. So
Mhm.
yeah, definitely
Oh
an
yeah.
interesting time. um,
Yeah.
so we typically with these conversations, I bring up this book, it's The 12 Faces of the
Mhm.
Goddess.
Oh,
Transform Your Life with
beautiful.
Astrology, Magic, and the Sacred Feminine by Danielle Blackwood. And I'd like to pull some aspects of the different chapters because she talks about the different. So, like, here's the Capricorn woman. Um, One of the things that she says here is that the Capricorn woman's not afraid of hard work or putting in the time to attain her goals,
Mhm.
but she's often also suspicious of things that come too easily, like get rich quick schemes or online courses that promise mastery of a subject in 5 easy payments. Do you see yourself in that way? Like, do you see the value in the hard work versus the, we get the, I mean, you built a second career after a long-standing one in dance. Like, is there a suspicion as
Mhm.
says in this book, or what do you think?
I sometimes am suspicious of something coming too easy, because you're always waiting for that other shoe to drop, of like, oh, this is too easy. Like, life is only worth living or considered good if there's a struggle. If you can like retell your
Mm.
story and there's been struggle, then you're more believable. And I think that's just for me, that's just an imposter syndrome thing that I
Um,
contest with every so often. And I don't know if also as a brown Latina woman, I always feel like I need to struggle to make my story mean more,
huh,
to make my
interesting.
achievements mean more.
What's that about?
So
What's that about?
what's that about? I
Yeah.
think culturally, um, I think ancestrally, as a Puerto Rican woman,
Mm.
we were a part of Spain before being a part of the United States. And just that idea of like always needing somebody to help us is just ingrained in us. So you
Mm.
kind of have to like grow out of that idea of like, whether you think like, oh, I'm just, at the time when I changed careers, it was like, oh, I just have a dance degree. Like, who would want to hire me for something else that dance? I need help. Or, You always feel like you need somebody to help you progress, and in reality you can do it yourself. You have it in you. I feel proud that I do feel like I did it. I did have people on my side cheering me on, my family, coworkers, other people that I was in the community with. But I think there is always a struggle of like, if things come too easy, do I deserve them? Am I worthy of them? Or like, why do I feel like I need to struggle to be worthy of something?
Mm.
And I think that's also Hollywood putting stories in our head of like that hero story of like, you're only a
Yeah.
hero because there was struggle. And that's
Mm.
BS. But it's still ingrained in us, I think,
Yeah,
greatly.
yeah. What about that imposter syndrome that you mentioned? How does that come into play with work or even with, time with your family, that sort of thing?
I mean, with work, definitely, especially in this new career,
Mm.
I am surrounded sometimes by people that have degrees in like nonprofit management or fundraising, and have raised millions of dollars already for their organizations. And I'm on year two.
Okay.
I'm on year two of this new career, but everybody's already impressed by how much I've raised on my own. So it's like I have to come to terms with that. I am good at something, even
Mhm.
if I didn't go through like the certifications or the degrees. um, I'm still worthy of this
Mm.
gift, of this career, of these connections, of these experiences. And sometimes I think we don't allow ourselves to enjoy those merits and those
Mm.
goals and those achievements because we think, oh, but I didn't go through schooling, or I didn't go through a proper preparation. Who's going to believe in me if I don't have that certificate, right?
Mhm, mhm.
I've gone through the same thing of like, I do mediumship and I do tarot readings, and it's like, well, unless I go through these lavish, extravagant trainings with amazing people in the field, am I real? Am
Mm.
I Can I sell my services? Can I provide my services to other people if I don't have those certifications? Yes, because I think you can practice, you can be respectful of the whatever craft you're doing,
Yeah.
and always be honest. And I think sometimes that that gets a little gray, and everyone's shadow gets in the way, when you're
Yeah.
trying to move forward through
Yeah, well,
things.
yeah, the book was saying and that Capricorns tend to want that paper, right? Like that
Hmm.
certification, that license, that, diploma, whatever it is, to
Hmm.
show the worth of what you can bring to the table. But clearly you've demonstrated without those credentials, you're doing well in the second year. So congratulations on that. That's fantastic.
I'm still pursuing them. That doesn't mean I'm not pursuing them.
Okay, okay. Well, that's good. You're pursuing them. Listen,
there's
I got
there's there's one yeah there's one CFRA is what it's called. This, I think, certificate for fundraising professionals, but you
mm,
have to be on your third year in the career before you can
oh,
test
interesting.
into it. So I'm just, and you need so many hours of training, so many money fundraise and all that, and all things like that, so many extracurricular like webinars or conferences that you've gone to before you can
Oh,
apply
wow.
to test out. So as a Capricorn, I'm still working towards
I would say, of
those
course, you got your
papers.
checklist. You're like, here's what I'm doing next for my next certification. How have you
Yeah, I
been?
don't know why
Yeah.
I'm not so tired.
And
It's
with two
exhausting.
little ones, with two little ones at home too. Let's
Mhm,
like talk about that as well.
mhm.
Um, how with this second year in this job, are you still able to incorporate dance into your life?
Yeah, I'm still dancing professionally with a company here that I've been with now for 8 years. It's my eighth
Okay.
season with them. We tend to have a show in the fall and a show in the spring. and we do some outreach projects as well with the community. And we have a company class once a week, and then we rehearse 2 to 3 times a week, depending
Wow.
on the show. And then we will go dormant for a month or two in between shows, and then pick it back up again. So yeah, and
How do you,
I'll say
balance that?
I'm able to do that because I have a very supportive partner that met me dancing and understands that there's no separating dance and who I am. That's just, it's in
Okay.
myself. That's who I am. And that's something that I'll hopefully will do for maybe hopefully 15 more years at least, until my body gives up.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Mhm.
I have so I'm a Capricorn rising, so that's how it shows up for me.
Mhm.
And I'm a Pisces sun, so I have a theater background, so I
Mhm.
get that, that need to perform and to express yourself in that way. So that's amazing that you have a partner that allows you to, or not allows you, that you're able to um together work it out so that you could still go to rehearsals and whatnot. I was like, "Ooh, how do you do all
Mhm.
that?"
Yeah. Yeah.
It's impressive. It's very
Yeah.
impressive.
A lot of planning and, um, yeah, just a lot of support. I'm very grateful for that.
Um, looking over, we have some notes here that before we hopped on live, you sent over, and you mentioned that you like time, right? Seems so, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, right? Who rules time. What do you mean by this? You like time? Like you like the time to do things, or do you just like the concept of time? What does that mean?
Both.
Mm.
I think it came more up after once I got pregnant with our first. I remember talking to my belly and saying, we need to collaborate because mommy needs her time. Mommy needs her time to be creative. Mommy needs her time to be alone. Mommy needs her time to be with you. And I will also respect your time and what you need. And we just need to collaborate together because you chose me for a reason. And we just need to work together. And I would say that constantly while I was at work, while I went on walks. I would say, we need to collaborate. We're artists. We're collaborating and making this life together. So we need to collaborate in keeping each other cup full. So that's what I mean by time. I need my time to be creative because that's really what feeds my soul, whether that is, and currently, yes, that is dancing, but during the week, once everybody's asleep, I call it my creative witching hour, 9 to 10 p.m. is when I will do my embroidery, is when I will do my painting, if I'm knitting, whatever is in season for me, like that witching creative hour, that's like my time when I can just be by myself and doing what I want to do and refilling my cup. So I think that's what I mean by time. And I think that the older I get, the more I realize like I do need solitude from time to time to like refill
Mhm.
myself up. Because that Leo moon does want me to be very outwardly and extrovert. But the older I get, I'm getting a little bit more introverted.
Yeah.
Like I do need some solo time.
I love that witchy creative time. That's amazing. Might have to instill that in my own life. I love that you, depending on the season, you do something creative with your time. And that's interesting that as you've gotten older, yeah, that maybe we gotta dim that Leo moon a little bit and get some time for yourself to
Mhm.
recharge for sure. But that just feels very, very Capricorn sun, Leo moon. Like I'm scheduling time to be creative.
Oh,
You know
yes,
what I mean?
very true.
I'm scheduling the time,
Yes.
but I'm gonna do what I want.
Yeah.
That's that is that's fabulous. Are there other ways that that you schedule, or like how do you, because as a Capricorn, right, we want to be like da 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 da. We want things done in a structure. Do you allow
Mhm.
yourself at all the and I know like as a mom too, that's kind of hard, but have there been opportunities where you kind of break free from structure and kind of do, is it in that like witchy hour time, or are there other times that you do that? Allow for expression and creativity?
I would like to say yes, but probably no. I'm really hard on myself on like, I want to do, like, I usually wake up at 5 to be able to do my meditation and movement before the kids wake up.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to be, sometimes I think that Capricorn rigidness, even though I think I'm being lenient and creative, is really not real. I think it's what I tell myself. But it's like, okay, if I'm gonna do heavy weights 2 days a week, then I need to do my Kundalini meditation these other 2 days. And like, I don't let it just wake up and be like, this is what I'm going to do today. It's like, no, like it has to be this because the next day it's going to be this. I'm trying to soften that. I'm trying to allow myself to wake up. And I think that's part of my intuitive growth and practice is to
Mm-hmm.
wake up and just listen to
Yeah.
the universe of what I need and what it's telling me. It's like today's saying, Analía, today you're not going to do heavy lifting. You're going to do some gentle yoga and a 5-minute meditation. And I'm trying to honor those conversations that are happening or that are
Yeah.
coming to me.
Yeah. I was just going
Because
to ask.
it is really hard. I do feel like I'm trying to be creative, but
Yeah, it's you're trying to be creative in the confines of these moments that you're creating, which I think, I mean, I applaud you for that, getting up so early to tend to those things. But I'd be curious to see, as you work, as you mentioned, on that intuition and feel into what you want to do each day versus I'm going to do this. I mean, I think that there's benefits to both approaches. I think that you're such a brilliant and fascinating example of how you can weave in both and still, you know, be in touch with your intuition, but still get to express yourself creatively, within some structure.
mhm.
For sure.
I think it
Um,
falls back for me right now in thinking of giving grace to myself of like, yes,
mm,
I made the plan the night before that I was going to do a hit routine the next morning. And then that morning I might wake up and I need to be graceful and be like, that doesn't feel good for me right now. What feels better is doing this other thing, whether that's stretching, Pilates, yoga, meditation, and not chastising myself for it, for
yeah,
switching it or for changing my mind.
right,
Mhm.
right. It's so hard because that inner saboteur, that monkey mind, whatever you want to call it, can get real loud in there, and yeah, that self
Mhm.
segregation can get really tough for sure. What what recommendations would you have for another fellow Capricorn who wants to express their creative side a little bit more, but is finding it difficult because they're being all Capricorny?
Sorry, I feel like your question got cut off there at the end.
No worries. It was just what recommendation would you have for a fellow Capricorn who wants to be more creative but is finding themselves held back by their Capricorniness? Do you get it? Yeah.
I think it's always good to remind ourselves that inner child that's wanting to be playful and be creative. And I think sometimes we put a lot of pressure on like, oh, if I'm going to be creative, that means I have to create something beautiful or something meaningful. And it doesn't have to be beautiful. It doesn't have to be meaningful. It could just be like going for a walk and to pick 5 leaves that, call my attention. Or I'm going to pick a couple of, rocks or something and just come home and inducing for me. You have to be, you're going to create a masterpiece in a white canvas or anything like that. I think just allowing yourself to be playful. Maybe it is just making a puzzle and just taking that time to get your head out of the type A and putting it in a different place. Mhm.
I love that. As someone who is just recently starting to enjoy puzzles because my husband was the puzzle person. Now my daughter's into it, so now I'm starting to get into it too. I think that's it's a great example or suggestion for folks to use. Um, Last question, where can folks find you? You said that I don't know if you do mediumship and tarot reading, like if you have another site for that, or are there any ways that folks can connect with you if they want to follow your adventures as a dancer slash development director?
Yeah. I mean, right now, for my medium and my tarot readings, I am just doing them really at no cost, because I do think I do need like that 100-hour practice before you can start charging anything. So I'm still working on those hours for me. So if people would be willing to sit for me, so that I could practice the craft, that I would be very grateful. So if they want to connect with me on that end, they can find me on Instagram, just on the handle Xochilmade, Zochilmade. And then for my, dancer family stuff, development director things, just my regular Instagram account, analia.a.weber. That's where you can find me. I'll send those to you in case you wanted to add them on the
Yeah.
notes. And you can get a little snippet into my day to day and connect with me that way. And I'll be very happy to connect with the community.
Awesome. Well, Analia, thank you so much for taking the time to share your life, your work, and how you balance that creativity with that pragmatism that we know as Capricorn. I think it's a great way for us to learn during Capricorn season. And stay tuned. We have Aquarius season coming up next. Still in the process of finding an Aquarius friend. So if you want to be that friend and hop on here and chat about Aquarius season, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, we will see you next month, and we hope that you take care. And for folks out there that are in the snow like us, be safe, and we'll talk soon. Thanks so much. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.